So we had defined 3 types of pressure yesterday. Today we are going to discuss the devices used to measure these types of pressure. So first device is barometer. All right, barometer. It is used to measure atmospheric pressure. A barometer is used to measure atmospheric pressure, and specifically right now we are taking Torricelli's barometer. Torricelli's barometer, which was the first barometer. First barometer, that was Torricelli's barometer. So what did Torricelli do? He had taken a trough, a glass trough. He took a glass trough containing mercury. Pure and dry mercury was taken. Mercury was there. Mercury was there inside the trough. Then he had taken a test tube. He took a test tube of about 1 meter length. He took a test tube of about length 1 meter and he filled it with mercury. उसमें भी उसने mercury डाल दिया. Then he closed the mouth of test tube with his thumb and inverted this test tube containing mercury in the trough containing mercury. He inverted it here. He inverted the test tube here. What did it do? After some time, mercury started falling. The level of mercury started falling in the test tube. So this was all mercury inside the trough. The level of mercury, it started falling and there was some empty space in the test tube. That empty space was called Torricelli's vacuum or Torricellian vacuum. And when the height of mercury was calculated above the free surface of mercury, that was found to be 76 centimeters. So that's why the unit of pressure is also taken to be 76 centimeter of mercury column, because you can see this is the standard value. This is the standard value of length of mercury column that is giving us 1 atmospheric pressure. How we can know that this 76 centimeter of mercury column will be giving us a pressure equivalent to 1 atmospheric pressure? See, let us take a point A here outside. You know how much pressure is acting at point A? That is atmospheric pressure because it is exposed to air, right? Now at the same level, if we take C point also, which is at the foot, exactly at the foot. These two are at the same level. So according to hydrostatic paradox, pressure at A is equal to pressure at C point. How much is pressure at A point? We call it 1 atmospheric pressure because A point is exposed to the air. So we know that here the pressure existing is 1 atmospheric pressure. And how can we calculate pressure at C point? We know the formula H rho G. Okay. And that height is 76 centimeter. In meters we can write 0.76. Density of mercury I already told you, 13.6 into 10 raised to power 3 kg per meter cube, and G is 9.8. So when we solve, we get 1 atmospheric pressure equal to 1.01325 into 10 raised to power 5 Pascal. So this is how we calculate 1 atmospheric pressure. This is how we calculate 1 atmospheric pressure. So now you must have understood the logic that why we are taking 76 centimeter height of mercury column for calculating 1 atmospheric pressure, because pressure at these 2 points at the same level according to hydrostatic paradox, that is the same. So this point we are sure that here atmospheric pressure is existing. So here also atmospheric pressure must be existing. So we have calculated 1 atmospheric pressure using this concept, that is always remember equal to 1.01325 into 10 raised to power 5 Pascals. Fine. So have a look at this. This was first barometer, Torricelli's barometer, and this vacuum created inside the test tube, that is called Torricellian vacuum. is the experiment clear to you all? So I repeat that. What did he do? He had taken a trough containing mercury and he also filled a test tube with mercury. He closed the mouth of test tube with a thumb and inverted it in the trough. After some time, the level of mercury gone down and there was vacuum above this region of test tube, and automatically there was the length, a height of column 76 centimeters. Okay, so this way we calculated the value of 1 atmospheric pressure. Now what did he do? If he tilted, suppose now he tilted the test tube through certain angle, even then the height of mercury remained 76 centimeters. The height of mercury still remained 76 centimeters. Still this vertical height was equal to 76 centimeters. So this was not affected at all. This height was not affected at all. So the standard value of atmospheric pressure remained 76 centimeter of mercury column only. On tilting the test tube even, the value did not change. All right. So next topic is what happens to the reading of barometer, what happens to the level of mercury in the barometer when there are sudden changes in the atmospheric conditions. Okay, so let us study how does the reading of barometer change when there are some changes in external conditions. So first is effect of temperature. Effect of temperature on level of mercury in the barometer, or you can say on the reading of barometer, right? So first of all, what does the fall in level of mercury in the barometer indicate? What does the fall in level of mercury in the barometer indicate? Let us see that. It indicates rainy season. It indicates rainy weather or rainy season. How can we justify? Because in rainy season, the amount of the density of water increases, water vapors का amount increase हो जाएगा in the air. So the density of water vapors increases in the air and density of air decreases. Okay, since density of air is decreasing and pressure is directly dependent upon density of air, not of water, then what will happen? Pressure will also decrease. So this will lead to decrease in level of mercury and hence the pressure also. So what does the fall in level of mercury in the barometer indicate? It indicates rainy season, and reason I told you, because density of water vapors will decrease and density of air, that is density of water vapor will increase and density of air is going to decrease, that is further going to decrease the pressure and hence the level of mercury in the barometer also. And the reverse thing happens. If there is rise in level of mercury in the barometer, it will indicate dry weather. It will indicate dry weather. Okay, because gases, air is a gas, gases expand on heating, and liquid is also there. Mercury is also there in the barometer, but gases expand more in comparison to liquid. So the decrease in density of air, decrease in density of gas, that will be more as compared to decrease in density of mercury. So what will happen? Level of mercury in the barometer will increase. So if the level of mercury in the barometer increases, that would indicate dry weather, right? But if there is sudden fall, suppose there is sudden fall in the level of mercury in the barometer, it will indicate the incoming of a storm. It will indicate stormy weather. What is the reason behind that? Stormy weather cue. Because if level of mercury is falling in the barometer, that will indicate a low pressure region in that area. And outside the pressure will be high, that means very high. Pressure difference will be very, very large. So air will rush in from the region of high pressure to low pressure and storm will be there. So wind will be traveling very fast from high pressure region to very low pressure area. So that will lead to a storm. Okay, so all the three changes in the level of mercury in the barometer are clear to you. If the level is falling, that will indicate rainy season, but it is falling gradually. If the level is increasing gradually, slowly, then it will indicate dry weather. But if there is sudden fall, then it will indicate stormy weather. So this is how the reading of barometer also changes accordingly. All right. Now, this was the measurement of atmospheric pressure. Now let us discuss the measurement of absolute pressure. Which device is used to measure absolute pressure? We studied that to measure atmospheric pressure, we use barometer. To find absolute pressure, we use again barometer, but that is different type, aneroid barometer. Aneroid barometer is used for this purpose. So it is used to find absolute pressure, and I repeat, what is absolute pressure? Total pressure of an object, total pressure at a point, that is called absolute pressure, right? So let us find it out. What is the structure first of all? This is a fixed base. This is a metallic box which is hollow, evacuated and sealed. Means inside it there is vacuum and it is sealed after creating vacuum inside it. And this is a fixed base, and this is a spring. We are showing it like this. Then there is a lever system. I'll tell you why this kind of system is there. Lever system is there. Chain system is there. And after the chain system, we are having this spindle, and to which a pointer is attached. This is lever system. This is chain system. And this is a pointer that reads a scale. A graduated scale is there. Okay, so this is giving us the reading of pressure. Pressure graduations or pressure scale. This is pointer. Okay, so draw the diagram of aneroid barometer first of all. So there is a fixed base. This is a spring. And there is a box inside which is metallic, hollow, evacuated and sealed. Now what will happen? Suppose the outside pressure increases. That means inside pressure is less. So this box will move inside. It will cave in. So when the box is caving in, moving in, that means outside pressure has increased. Okay, and if the outside pressure decreases, that means inside pressure is more. So this box will move slightly outward from region of high pressure to the region of low pressure. Okay, so means there will be movement in both the cases. Whether the outside pressure is high or whether the outside pressure is low, there will be movement of box in both the cases, right? So this movement is very slight. It is magnified with the help of lever system and chain system. थोड़ी सी भी मूवमेंट अगर होगी तो एक सिस्टम ऑफ लिवर्स और चेन्स उसको मैग्नीफाई कर देगा, उसकी मूवमेंट जो है वो एम्पलीफाई हो जाएगी. सो दिस इज द पर्पस ऑफ यूजिंग लिवर सिस्टम और चेन सिस्टम. बॉक्स मूव हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है हो सकता है आपको पता नहीं चले, पर जब चेन मूव होगी या लिवर मूव होगा तो आपको नोटिस जरूर होगा. मीन्स दे एम्पलीफाई द मूवमेंट ऑफ द बॉक्स. नाउ accordingly pointer will move. Because of this movement, pointer will move on the scale and we will note down the reading of pressure this way. So this will be giving us which type of pressure? It will be giving us the reading of absolute pressure of a body at a place. So aneroid barometer gives us absolute pressure, the second type of pressure. So we have seen that using a barometer, for example, Torricelli's barometer, we can find atmospheric pressure. By using aneroid barometer, we can find absolute pressure at a place. Now, which is the device that is used to find gauge pressure or gauge pressure? But if it is clear, first of all. So, have you drawn the diagram? Have you written the important points? Have you understood? If not, you can raise hand and ask me the question. Yes. Gitesh, yes, speak up.
मैम स्क्रीन क्लियर नहीं है.
क्लियर नहीं है क्या?
यस
नहीं,
मैम, थोड़ी ब्लर हो रही. मैम ब्लर हो रही.
आपको क्या दिखाई नहीं दे रहा?
मैम
शुड आई?
सामने जो बोर्ड है वो थोड़ा सा ब्लर हो रहा है मैम.
और किसी बच्चे को भी प्रॉब्लम आ रही है? एनी अदर स्टूडेंट इज फेसिंग प्रॉब्लम?
नो मैम.
क्षितिज, इज इट ओके? गुरसिमरन, क्लियर है ये?
यस मैम, क्लियर आ रही है. उसका शायद
क्लियर है
इंटरनेट
मैम.
Something at your end, please check it. I don't think so there is any problem. To me, it is properly visible. No problem like that. ठीक है?
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम.
Yes.
मैम वो लीवर सिस्टम, मतलब लीवर से जो आपने बताया था, 1 मिनट दोबारा समझा दो.
हाँ, liver system और chain system, they will amplify the movement of the box. बॉक्स देखो बहुत ही स्लाइट मूव करेगा, बिकॉज प्रेशर डिफरेंस इतना ज्यादा नहीं होगा कि बॉक्स को मूव होते हुए आप देखो बाहर मूव कर रहा है या इनवर्ट मूव कर रहा है, तो हो सकता है आपको पता भी ना चले कि बॉक्स मूव किया है. पर जब बॉक्स की मूवमेंट लीवर सिस्टम से कनेक्टेड है और चेन सिस्टम से कनेक्टेड है, जो छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स हैं, तो उनमें मूवमेंट होती हुई विजिबल होगी. मीन्स they will amplify, they will magnify the movement of the box. They will make the movement of the box noticeable. उससे हमें ये नोटिस हो जाएगा कि बॉक्स मूव किया है, किसी भी डायरेक्शन में मूव किया है, बट दैट मूवमेंट विल बी एम्पलीफाइड विद द हेल्प ऑफ लिवर सिस्टम एंड चेन सिस्टम. और जब ये मूवमेंट आगे ट्रांसफर होगी, पॉइंटर अकॉर्डिंगली मूव करेगा स्केल पे एंड वी विल नोट डाउन द रीडिंग. ठीक है? सेंसिटिविटी इज रिक्वायर्ड
ओके, थैंक
to
यू.
measure anything. Sensitivity of any device is always required. For example, I give you the example of thermometer. Thermometer में mercury क्यों use करते हैं? Because it expands more. Its coefficient of thermal expansion is very large. So for a small change in your body temperature, it expands more. तो हमें वो उसका जो thread है उसको read करके reading पता चल जाता है. तो सेम वे यहाँ पे मूवमेंट को एम्पलीफाई करने के लिए लीवर और चेन सिस्टम यूज हुई. ठीक है? नाउ टू फाइंड द गेज प्रेशर वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अ थर्ड डिवाइस दैट इज कॉल्ड ओपन ट्यूब मैनोमीटर. ठीक है? सो थर्ड डिवाइस दैट इज गिविंग अस द रीडिंग ऑफ गेज प्रेशर. Measurement of gauge pressure. What is gauge pressure? Difference between absolute and atmospheric pressure. So we are having this device, open tube manometer. Open tube manometer. So suppose this is an object whose pressure is P, whose absolute pressure is P. Okay, it is connected to a U-shaped tube. We are having a U-shaped tube whose other end is kept open. One end is connected to this body whose pressure is P, whose absolute pressure is P, and another end is kept open. That means at this open end, the pressure existing is atmospheric pressure. At this open end, which type of pressure is existing? Atmospheric pressure is existing here. Okay. So suppose the level in one limb is high. Suppose the level in this limb is H1 and level in this limb of the tube is H2. कुछ difference तो होगा ही levels का, because there is a difference in pressure. at the two sides. Okay. Now let us take 2 points at the bottom, point A, point B. And in equilibrium, according to hydrostatic paradox, since these 2 points are at the same level, pressures will be same at these 2 points. According to hydrostatic paradox, since these 2 points are at the same depth, same level, so pressures will be same at these 2 points. How can we write pressure at B point? Who will tell me? What is total pressure at B point? That is atmospheric pressure plus pressure due to this height, this length, H1. So I can write pressure at B point as PA plus H1 rho G. Do you agree? Have I written correctly? Pressure at B point is atmospheric pressure plus pressure due to this length of mercury column or water column, whatever liquid we have taken. So that is PA plus H1 rho G. Same way, how can I write pressure at point A? That is pressure existing here at the surface of this liquid, that is P, plus pressure due to this height H2. So same way I can write P plus H2 rho G. This is giving us absolute pressure at point A. And at point B, I have again written absolute pressure, total pressure existing. Is this term clear to you? This is the main thing, how we write pressure at points A and B. Now, P minus PA can be written as H1 minus H2 rho G. Rearranging the terms, we write difference in pressures is H1 minus H2 rho G. Let us say that the difference in levels is H. This H1 minus H2, if that is equal to H, then let me substitute here H rho G. So using this open tube manometer, we have found the difference between absolute and atmospheric pressures, that is gauge pressure. So we have found gauge pressure using open tube manometer, and it can be calculated by solving H rho G. By putting in this difference in levels and putting in density, we can easily solve that and find this gauge pressure. So have a look at all the 3 devices if these are clear to you. देख लीजिए अच्छी तरह से ये तीनों devices आपको clear हैं. So how we can find different types of pressure? How we can measure different types of pressure? Is that fine, students? Any doubts you can ask? No doubts? All right. So next is Archimedes principle. You have done the statement in lower classes. Who will tell me what is Archimedes principle? Yes, Pavan. Pavan, आप बता सकते हो? Do you remember the statement of Archimedes principle?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember?
No, ma'am.
अच्छा, और कोई? Anybody else who remembers the statement of Archimedes principle? It was related to flotation and buoyant force. Let me recall. What is buoyant force? It is also called upthrust. It is always the force acting in upward direction when a solid is immersed in a liquid partially or completely. Okay, let us recall this concept of buoyancy or buoyant force. What is buoyant force or buoyancy? It is also called upthrust. It is also called upthrust. By the name it is clear, up means upward direction, thrust means force. Suppose there is a bucket of water, maybe it is partially filled or completely filled, that depends upon the situation. We dip a plastic mug in the bucket containing water. What will happen? What will happen when you take it till the bottom even? It will automatically come to the surface when you release it. So which force is bringing it in the upward direction? That is the buoyant force. That is upthrust. So it is always a force acting on a solid in the upward direction when it is immersed in a liquid, when it is dipped in a liquid partially or completely. So you have this practical example in front of you, right? So this is upthrust or buoyant force. Thrust means force. All right. So what is flotation related to? Flotation is related to sinking of a body or flotation of a body. You have done in lower classes. When does a body float in a liquid? When its density, when the density of solid is less than density of liquid. When the density of solid is less than density of liquid, it floats. Then it floats. For example, plastic. The density of plastic is less than that of water. How much is density of water? You know that 1000 kg per meter cube, and density of plastic is very less in comparison to that, right? So that's why it floats. Why does it float? Because in this case, upthrust becomes more than weight. There are two forces acting on any body which is immersed in a liquid. There are always two forces. Suppose I have this object here, then two forces are acting. First is weight. W is equal to mg because of gravitation, and the second is upthrust or the buoyant force, which is always acting in the upward direction. Whichever force will be greater, it will keep the body in that direction. So when this condition is met, when the density of solid is less than density of liquid, what will happen? Upthrust becomes more than weight of the object. U becomes greater than W, so that's why it floats. But in case of sinking, what is the condition? That density of solid is greater than that of liquid. Density of solid is greater than the density of liquid. For example, iron. The density of iron is much greater than that of water. So in this case, what will happen? Weight that depends upon density of solid, that becomes more than upthrust. So in this case, upthrust is less than weight. Weight is acting in the downward direction, so it will take the body downwards. So the body will sink. So the body will sink. Okay, but in case of flotation, when upthrust is more than weight, upthrust always acts in the upward direction. It will keep the body up. It will keep the body floating. तो ये concept आपने 9th में पढ़ा हुआ है. So we'll go one step higher, but before that, we will be proving Archimedes principle mathematically. So now I state Archimedes principle क्या होता है? Archimedes principle. So when a solid is immersed in a liquid, when a solid is immersed in a liquid partially or completely, an upward force acts on it called the buoyant force, that is always equal to weight of liquid displaced by the solid. So now you remember that Archimedes principle states that when a solid is immersed in a liquid partially or completely, then what happens? The body loses weight, and the loss in weight is always equal to weight of liquid displaced by the object, and also this is equal to buoyant force or upthrust. ठीक है, ये तीनों चीजें equal होती हैं. For example, when you go for swimming, when you are inside water, you lose less weight. You feel that as if you have lost some weight. In the air, you weigh more, but in water, you will feel that your weight is less. This loss in weight appears in the form of upthrust. Okay, that keeps you floating in the water. Okay, suppose you dive from certain height, you jump inside the water. Suppose a amount of water equivalent to your weight that comes out because you have replaced it. By jumping inside water, by going inside water, you have displaced some water, for example. Then weight of that displaced water will be equal to the weight that you have lost. This is called Archimedes principle. Okay, so I write the equation. When a solid is immersed in a liquid partially or completely, then These three things are equal. Buoyant force or upthrust, that is equal to loss in weight of the solid, and that is also equal to weight of liquid displaced by the solid. Weight of liquid displaced by the solid. So this is the statement of Archimedes principle. देख लीजिए ध्यान से एक बार. If you are having any doubts, you can tell me. Do you remember this statement you did in 9th standard? Any doubts about this statement? Yes, students, if you have any doubts about this statement, you can tell me. And you also did the applications of Archimedes principle in 9th standard. Lactometer, a device used to check the purity of milk, that is based on Archimedes principle. Then hydrometer, a device used to find density of solids and liquids, that is also based on Archimedes principle. Okay, designing of ships, submarines, etc., that is also based on Archimedes principle. These calculations come from Archimedes principle. Okay, so I hope you now remember Archimedes principle. Now mathematically using the concept of pressure, we are going to derive this now. So proof. Let us do the proof now. Suppose we have liquid in a container. There is liquid in a container and there is an object of mass m inside it. This is a solid of mass m. The density of solid is rho and density of liquid is sigma. Note it down. Suppose the density of solid body, that is rho, and density of liquid is sigma. Okay. Suppose the depth of this upper phase of body from the surface is L and the length of the body is H. Then there must be two forces acting on upper and lower phases. Suppose F1 is the downward force acting on the upper phase and F2 is the upward force acting on the lower phase of the body. Okay, so let us first of all find pressures at different points. Pressure at point A. Suppose this edge is A and this edge is B. So pressure at point A can be written as P1, that is depth is L, can be written as L rho G. According to the formula H rho G, here H is L. And what is the pressure at B point, we can write accordingly. Pressure at point B, you can see depth of B point, total depth is H plus L. So we can write pressure P2 H plus L rho G. Any doubt in these two pressure equations? Any doubts? You can raise hand. Clear hai? Then, accordingly, the forces acting on the upper and lower phases can be written as F1 is equal to P1A and F2 is equal to P2A. Accordingly, these can be written by putting in the values. So this is L rho GA and this is H plus L rho GA. We have written forces also F1 and F2. So what is the net force acting in the upward direction? What is the net force? That is the buoyant force, upthrust. So the upthrust or buoyant force, that is upper force minus downward force. The force acting in the upward direction is F2 and force acting in the downward direction is F1. So difference of F2 and F1 will give us net force, buoyant force. Okay, so put in the values now. What do we get? H plus L rho GA minus L rho GA. That gives us H rho GA. It gives us H rho GA. What is area of cross section into height? Area of cross section of this body is A. Area into height is volume. volume of liquid displaced by this object, because it has taken the place of some liquid, so it will displace the same amount of liquid. So V, you can say, better say, this is volume of liquid displaced by the solid. So this volume into density is mass of liquid displaced by the solid, and this mg is weight of liquid displaced by this solid. Weight of liquid displaced. So we have proved that upthrust or buoyant force, that is equal to weight of liquid displaced, which is Archimedes principle. So this is the proof of Archimedes principle, that upthrust is equal to weight of liquid displaced by the solid. देख लीजिए ध्यान से. So this is the whole proof of Archimedes principle. This is the proof of Archimedes principle.